Welcome to the James Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Something I like to do on the 4th of July is stand up for the name, the good name of our country. I'm tired of the haters of this place. I know it's not perfect. I know it has warts, and there's a little legitimate place for criticisms of America in many facets. But to sit here and try and act like this is a terrible place, like this is some sort of hellscape or dystopian nightmare, it's just ridiculous. Because not only is it not a dystopian nightmare, it's the greatest country ever. It's the greatest country the world has ever known. It's the greatest country on the planet right this second. And through all of human history, the luckiest people were the ones that are born in this planet at this time, in this country. So I bring you one of this. It has to go viral about every 3 or 4 years. There was a show that HBO tried back in the day called Newsroom, and Jeff Daniels was their anchor, Will McAvoy, who was portrayed as this neutral, just observer of facts, and he's not partisan at all. And they tried to portray it like that, but it was one of the most blatant, thinly veiled pieces of propaganda. And it's for whatever their political beliefs are. It just happened to line up. Every one of their conclusions lined up with it. And so in the first episode, at the beginning, this guy breaks. Instead of being neutral, he just starts to tell the truth, even if it skewers both sides. And so people like to pass around this anti-American rant. I'm going to play it for you, and then I'm going to dismantle it. Newsroom from HBO.
What makes America the greatest country in the world? Why is America
not the greatest country in the world, Professor? That's my answer.
So he's got a lefty on his right, a righty on his left.
You're saying
yes.
Let's talk about
fine. Sharon, the NEA is a loser. Yeah, it accounts for a penny out of our paycheck, but he gets to hit you with it anytime he wants. It doesn't cost money. It costs votes. It costs airtime and column inches. You know why people don't like liberals? Because they lose. If liberals are so smart, how come they lose so always? Hey, and with a straight face, you're going to tell students that America is so star-spangled awesome that we're the only ones in the world who have freedom? Canada has freedom. Japan has freedom. The UK, France, Italy, Germany, Spain, Australia, Belgium has freedom. So 207 sovereign states in the world, like 180 of them have freedom.
All right.
And yeah, you, sorority girl, just in case you accidentally wander into a voting booth one day, there's some things you should know. And one of them is there is absolutely no evidence to support the statement that we're the greatest country in the world. We're 7th in literacy, 27th in math, 22nd in science, 49th in life expectancy, 178th in infant mortality, 3rd in median household income, number 4 in labor force, and number 4 in exports. We lead the world in only 3 categories: number of incarcerated citizens per capita, number of adults who believe angels are real, and defense spending, where we spend more than the next 26 countries combined, 25 of whom are allies. Now, none of this is the fault of a 20-year-old college student, but you nonetheless are, without a doubt, a member of the worst generation ever. So when you ask what makes us the greatest country in the world, I don't know what the you're talking about. Yosemite?
All right, let me step in here and defend our country. America's only number 1 in 3 categories. Incarcerated citizens, people who believe in ghosts, and defense spending. First off, he says that like it's a bad thing. Defense spending is kind of the most number 1 thing that any country wants to have at any time. That sort of determines who the world power is. That's something you want to be winning at. But the other 2, they're supposed to be bad. Well, he's obviously leaving a few things out. And the people that pass this around, they're like, yeah, America's only number 1 at these 3 sucky things. Well, no, there's a few more things that America's number 1 at. And these are pretty big things that he left out. Number 1, Nobel Prize winners, Nobel laureates. We have the greatest number of Nobel Prize winners by far. We're up to like 413 as of last year. And that's, to give you an idea of how far in the lead we are, only 2 other countries have over 100. Great Britain has 137. Germany has 115. Then there's like Sweden with 75, and then no one after that has over 40. We have 413. We're number 1 in the number of patents. We're number 1 in the number of immigrants. Look, you would think lefties, they love immigration, right? We're number 1 in immigrants. So you didn't put that in there? Jeff Daniels / Will McAvoy / HBO. Listen to how far they have to lie to get you to not like America. Look at what they have to leave out and omit and pretend isn't true in order to make the case that this isn't a great country. What a lame argument that is. We're also number 1 in the number of Olympic medals. So right there, when you have the greatest GDP, the greatest military, the greatest science world, with patents and Nobel Prize winners, greatest importer of immigration, which if you like immigration, that should be cool. And then on top of that, sport. We're number one in Olympic medals. What in the heck are we not the best at? We have the most billionaires. We have the largest Christian population. We have the largest nuclear power production capacity. We have the most nuclear reactors for electricity generation. We have about 100 in this country right now. It doesn't get a whole lot of play because it's not a majority, or it's a significant fraction of our generation, but still largest in the world. We have the largest coal reserves, largest gold reserves. We have the most aircraft carriers in operations. We have the most scientific papers outputs in all the academic journals. No one even comes close to the number that get published in peer-reviewed academic journals as America does. And even down to fun stuff like almonds and cheese, and there's all kinds of things that he could have brought. Soybeans he could have brought up that we were number one in. But no, he just puts in the ugly stuff. Well, that's nasty. If you're only allowing information that supports your narrative but excludes a much larger body of information that goes counter to your narrative, well, you're just dishonest. You're just propaganda at this point. And look, the easiest way to prove the idea that America isn't the best country, if anyone wants to argue with me right now, my question would be, well, then who is? Belgium? You know how he says Belgium in there? And yet, like I started by saying, every nation has its flaws. Of course, we have our flaws here. Of course, we're not perfect. But if you don't have a counterexample of who's better, then you're not making your point. Dumb old, backwards, hate-filled America with our stupid old gun rights and our giant carbon footprint and clinging to guns and God and our stupid old Christianity and religion. Easily, without a doubt, the best country in the world, the best country that has ever existed, the best endeavor humans have ever put forth in all of history. Happy birthday, America. This is The James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.